Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Annabelle, Talent Coordinator at BioBuzz. I'm thrilled to be here today with our amazing guest, Susan Mitchell. Um, Telling you a little bit about Susan. So Susan's an implementation scientist, translational researcher, and the CEO of Athari BioSciences, which is a CLIA certified diagnostics research and training lab. Susan has over 30 years of experience spanning federal agencies, Fortune 500 companies, and government contracting, and she has built and led elite biotech teams driving innovation and workforce development. She has a very unique career path from legal administration to biotech leadership, offering valuable insights into bridging research with real-world impact. And before I hand it over to Susan, we dive in, I want to give a big thank you to our sponsor today, Biotech, for supporting this program. Biotech has trained over 17,000 scientists through their cutting-edge biotech workshops. You can learn more at biotech.com. I also want to remind everyone that this event today is part of our BioBuzz Talent Lab, which is your go-to resource for career growth, industry connections. Definitely, if you haven't already, join our talent lab. That'll just help you stay engaged with us and able to access more opportunities like this. So let's get started. I'm going to hand it over to Susan.
Thank you, Annabelle, so much for the opportunity. Thank you, BioBuzz and Biotech, for this experience. And hello, everyone. Some of you, I see the names that I know, and some of them I don't. I look forward to collaborating further with you. And what I will do is kick it off now here for Career Catalyst, from Lab to Leadership, Navigating Success in Biotech. Here are some of the things that I was able to glean in my experiences. And so what I'll do is go off camera, share a bit with you, and then come back on camera when it's time for Q&A. So hope you all enjoy. Bear with me. It's Tuesday. Thanks, and look forward to working with everybody. Can everyone see my slides?
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. So I'll just give a brief overview about who I am and what I'm about. Again, welcome everyone. My name is Susan Mitchell. I'm the CEO of Athari BioSciences, and Athari Bio is a BSL-2 CLIA certified independent laboratory, and we're advancing therapeutic diagnostic development. We're developing next generation biomedical leaders. And today I'm just really excited about the opportunity to explore how diverse professional experiences make unexpected and powerful paths towards biotech leadership. And so my journey from federal legal administration to biotech innovation offers insights that I hope you can be inspired by and help you in your own career transitions, growth, and mentorship to others. So we'll go ahead and get started. I want to open by telling you about the power of unconventional paths. So I am not your typical biotech leader. I started out in university. It was supposed to be an on-air announcer, the next Oprah, but you know, things happen, and that's exciting. So breaking the mold in my journey to offering access across sectors allowed me to be the leader that I am today. I started out after university at the Office of General Counsel, where we learned how to navigate complex federal systems, moved from there to the Federal Election Commission and worked at the United States Postal Service, where I helped to master regulatory frameworks and large-scale operations. Then moved from the federal government to Fortune 500, Unisys, which was an IT collaborator, and Rolls-Royce, which was a defense contractor. There I was able to translate government experiences to corporate innovation. And then from there realized that, you know, there's a lot of great work that's being done, but I think I could be of better value to my community and service to individuals by starting a government contracting firm. So was the co-founder of Guardians of Honor, where we do research and project management and operations. There we build a lot of relationships with agencies such as the National Science Foundation, NIH, NASA, and more. And those experiences really gave me the information and the platform and the infrastructure to begin thinking about the gaps that were not being managed. And that's where Athari BioSciences was born. As I said, we're a CLIA lab, but we're doing everything from research and development to workforce development. So it's a really exciting opportunity to assemble an elite team of technical experts to perform and provide maximum impact. So here are some of the organizations that we have continued to work with and for, and we're very excited to continue in growing that group of individuals in our portfolio. So let's talk about the power of an unconventional path. Like I said, we're breaking the mold and our journey is across multiple sectors. And how do you leverage that so that you can find leadership in yourself at any stage of our career? I think being able to go across the federal general counsel services and 30 years of cross-sector experiencing and building bridges between legal, operational, and scientific domains allows the career path to seem unconventional and not necessarily prepared for a biotech CEO position. But I beg to differ. I think that all of these experiences bring passion and purpose to the work, and then you're able to leverage that to support industry tech and defense giants like Unisys, like Rolls-Royce, and then being able to take that in the things that you've learned along the way towards the biotech industry. So what you can see here is that the cross-sector experience can be leveraged as a superpower, okay? Diverse perspectives always make everything better. Legal expertise can inform regulatory navigation, administrative insights can drive operational excellence, which is one of our key differentiators, and then cross-sector relationships allow you to enable innovation. And so what may sometimes seem like career detours, a layoff, or things of that nature, that often becomes your greatest strength. And so in my experience, I think it's important to leverage those experiences to prove that what you're developing and bringing forth to the community in the world is invaluable. And so expertise is always good, and reading and learning is always important. Being a lifelong learner is one of the key instruments, I think, in terms of supporting your growth in your leadership journey. So if you start in an academic space, you're starting with a bachelor's, and then you're most likely moving to the master's, and then you're moving to the PhD program. And so all of those things are important, but you have to be able to translate that theoretical knowledge into things that are real world and hands-on. And I think that being a CEO and a leader of a biotech life science enterprise is exactly how we're able to do that. So I want to talk about how we have a new hybrid hierarchy where traditional org charts are meeting modern flexibility. We've got to be able to have an innovation framework that allows teams to balance leadership with dynamic collaboration and reflecting on what's really happening in the workplace and how are we using the changes in the workplace to make us a better organization, okay? I think by putting all of those things together, you're able to show and actually prove how it's important. Not just one way is the best way. I think engagement is important, culture is important, strategy is important, and all of those things combined get you to an area of success. It's like climbing a mountain. If you don't have your foot in the right rock, you're going to miss a step and you could fall. But if you're moving forward with a hierarchy that has a traditional blend with a modern flex, I think you're going to be able to see a lot of positive strides. So here are my top 5 to-dos when we're talking about leadership in life sciences and moving your collective trajectory forward. So we've got bridge clinical admin gaps, and that's going to allow you to lead cross-team projects and combine your biotech, your medical career expertise with business strategy. The second thing would be to drive digital evolution. So we want to be able to champion the AI and the machine learning initiatives that are coming down the pike. And while it's scary, change is scary, we have to be able to incorporate that in what we're doing, because if you look at it, you're able to save a lot of time. We're not saying take the AI and let the AI do the whole thing. It still needs human interaction. It still means that you have to mentor your teams and put that human-centric aspect upon it so that the care continuums that we're trying to develop are still in place. And then the third thing I think is important is the connecting across the specialties. So I think it's important to rotate through departments to build real-world, hands-on, multidisciplinary experiences. If you're doing one thing for a long time, you get really comfortable and you're like, I'm an expert at this. But guess what? As time goes, changes, make you have to evolve. And so it's really important to get specialties across multiple areas so that you can leverage those specialties when the opportunities present themselves. Then we're talking about balancing protocol and innovation. So of course, in the biomedical field, SOPs, you live and die by those things, okay? People live and die by those. If we fail to follow the standard operating procedures, then we do not have an adequate balance of protocol. But in that protocol development and implementation and following, we need to be able to incorporate some innovation. So decision trees and standard ops, as well as flexible engagement paths, are really important tools that need to be leveraged as we move forward in leadership and in fellowship. I think you can't be an excellent leader unless you're willing to follow at some point. So the last thing, which is certainly not the least thing, is building trust through the action, okay? So perhaps we have been doing it the same way, and you hear responses, oh, we've been doing it like this for years, but does that mean that's the best way, right? We have to be able to involve regular cultural feedback to understand, is this the right way? Is this the best way? Or was this the best way when we were doing it then, but now we're in a new normal? We have to be able to pivot. And pivoting is really a critical piece to ensuring that your leadership is moving forward in a positive direction. So here we're going to talk about the power of strategic simplification. So sometimes people think that being complex is better than just being very simple so that everyone can receive the information and the concepts that are being put forth. And that may not be the case all the time. I think clarity of purpose has been very helpful for me, especially in the scientific realm where I'm playing more of a scientist as opposed to going through a traditional PhD, biomedical background. I think we have to be able to challenge the chase, which means that every shiny thing is not going to be the thing we need to go after. If you're aware, research is expensive. So if you're going to go after every shiny thing, you're going to sink your costs right away. I mean, the hidden costs and the risks associated with that will just overwhelm your budget, and you'll quickly probably be let out of the organization because you're just spending way more than you're bringing in. So it's really important to excel at rigorous assessments of technical feasibility, develop realistic timelines, ensure that there's commercial viability for whatever it is you're trying to build, because eventually if the marketplace is not prepared for what you're building, then it's going to fall on deaf ears, which is not a good thing. So timing is important. So challenge the chase on that one. Next, we want to be able to embrace simplification. Again, we mentioned how sometimes we're faced with novel challenges, but we need to resist the urge to layer solutions that make it so dense that we can't process what it is we're actually delivering or sharing with the community or our team. The elegant answers lie in taking away the complexity and making it more realistic and more understandable for the layperson. Science is very, very important. But if the general population does not understand the science that we're trying to share with them, they're going to be less likely to adopt it. And so I think it's really important to have someone with a business mind and a leadership mind to take and distill some of the scientific information that we're putting out so that more people can understand it and jump on board with the solutions we're offering in the scientific realm. And lastly, let's focus on value creation, because multiple tech targets simple challenges, but we're often diluting that with the resources and the risks that we're taking. So I believe that success comes from identifying the critical paths that deliver maximum value with minimum complexity. So again, the emphasis is on simplification as a strategic tool, not just in leadership, but also in fellowship, because as the boots on the ground, if you don't understand the direction that the leadership is providing, you may go down the wrong path, and then that usually ends up to unhappiness and lost value. So let's talk a little bit about what it's like to lead a BSL-2 CLIA laboratory. So if anybody knows anything about CLIA, that is like the biggest hurdle to jump. To keep your CLIA certification is literally like giving up your firstborn. And it's a good thing to have it. It shows that you're serious about regulatory compliance and quality management. You've got to have a technical team to develop and train and consistently keep that development and training ongoing. There are requirements for that. And then the research and diagnostic innovation that happens in the CLIA lab is going to be top-notch, gold standard, because without the CLIA certifications, you will not be able to develop or disseminate whatever you're developing in the lab. So it's really important to have a certified laboratory and ensure that you're making sure that all of the federal guides are being complied with. And this combination creates like an environment where innovation and training or cultivation thriving mechanisms, right? So you're not just sitting stagnant with the information. You always have to be continually learning. There's a requirement for your educational experiences and then your continued professional development. So it's really important to be able to manage these laboratory experiences. So we want to talk a little bit about building the evidence bridge. So we want to be able to start with the end in mind, because that way you can work back or reverse engineer and map your stakeholder journey. So who is the stakeholder? Stakeholders are the individuals that will receive whatever biomedical treatments or devices that you're developing, or it could be a solution or a platform or a training experience. Much like what we're doing here today with Career Catalyst, the stakeholders are all of the individuals that we're seeing on the screen here, which is fantastic. And so we want to be able to leverage leadership as an ability to choose the right path through complexity, but then building the evidence to bring others along. So maybe we understand a little bit about it, but we don't have enough information. We want to be able to take that operational change and support mechanism to wrap it around the strategy that touches the people, the customer, and the ecosystem holistically. So if we're talking about stakeholder-centric development, successful programs anticipate and address the diverse needs of the regulators, the investors, the prescribers, the patients, the payers, the partners, and just the overall community from the beginning. So it's difficult to start with a process and you don't know who you're trying to address or why you're trying to address them. What is the challenge you were trying to solve for? I think the evidence architecture piece will allow you to design and develop programs that build upon the compelling evidence that you already have, and then take in stakeholder insight, right? Perhaps you're talking about community outreach. How are you reaching the rest of the individuals with that information? And then you have to align that information with the endpoints, the health economics, the value propositions, and all those things that cause you to have a costly pivot later if you don't recognize it early on. And this does follow into strategic alignment, because you've got to be able to map your decision points to the stakeholder expectation, the stakeholder wishes, right? Sometimes their expectations may be off. How are you communicating with them to help them understand that there may be a chasm in that expectation in our ability to deliver? If there is, we have to have that conversation immediately, because you don't want to get so far down the road and then they feel like they have been misled, right? We want to be able to always be transparent and open and communicate all the stages of the strategic alignment so that the partners and the stakeholders feel the value and that the strategy will have a long-term effect. So one of the things that I think really excites me about Athari Bio is our next-gen STEM leadership development. We're investing in people, and we're training the people, we're equipping teams to give them skills that they need to succeed in an evolving economy. We're weaving together undergraduate, graduate, postdoc mentorship, and STEM leadership development to produce new knowledge derived from research, training, and outreach. And I think that's what makes us a little bit different from most biotechs. We always have that learning component, because I think lifelong learning is critical to delivering solutions for individuals in a scientific perspective. And then we're doing a research and laboratory build out to leverage and launch the academic and industry thought leadership solutions that we are working through and on. And we enlist the students in this innovative scientific endeavor so that they can begin to build their resumes, so they can too become leaders sooner rather than later. You know, we've got individuals that have started in our programs that are doing really big things, doing research on a PhD level, right? And I think it's important for them to feel included and feel important. right? Because as you do that, the work that they're doing theoretically in university or even in high school, because we do have a middle school and high school program as well, they're like, oh, I can do this. And maybe I don't get 100% on this exam because it's just test taking, but I do have great hands and I can pipette, and now I can help develop some of these cancer therapeutics or other, activities that we're doing in the lab that supports industry. So I think it's really important to create next gen STEM leaders, and that is one of the ways that we're doing that in the Athari Bio Lab. So we've got a thought leadership case study here where we're tackling vaccine education and access from a community level. We are presenting at the World Vaccine Congress again this year. We're doing the safety track, and the key thought leadership piece driving us in our research is surveillance tools with knowledge approaches that can manage vaccine refusal associated with priority pathogens. So we're supporting DoD in some of the things that really make them nervous about what's going bump in the night. And this is exciting for people that are young and for people that are in the middle of the career and people that are in the leadership track. And so we really excite all of the individuals that touch the research that we're doing. And we think it's important to continue thought leadership by developing case studies that allow everybody to have access to the work at every point of their professional journey. And so the scientific leadership evolution, we're talking about bridging excellence and impact. So Athari, I don't know if everyone knows this, but it means impact in Swahili. So we always want to be at the front edge of impacting our community and the globe and America as we speak. So scientific excellence is just the beginning. Leadership excellence requires fundamental transformation in the mindset and in the skills. So we've got to be able to journey from the scientific achievement to impact. And that requires us navigating about 3 critical transitions. We've got from technical to strategic, from control to collaboration, and from individual to enterprise impact. So from technical to strategic, we're talking about challenges. Don't get stuck in the technical details. Don't get stuck in the weeds such that it keeps you from doing the thing that needs to be done. In terms of evolution, we're developing broader vision and strategic thinking and incorporating the thoughts of the team into that strategy. And then for impact, we want to be able to have the ability to guide the teams towards larger goals. And so we'll have those smaller wins that create the big win so that you're not waiting forever for the win and feeling discouraged. And so from control to collaboration, we've got the challenge, the difficulty delegating and trusting. How do we overcome those difficulties? How do we overcome the fear of delegating and the fear of trusting because we've been let down in the past? We have to move out of that mindset and just figure out how do we overcome those things. I think transparency and effective communications are part of that. In terms of evolution, building and empowering teams is part of leadership. And even if you're not a leader with a leader title, you can be a leader. And by being able to build and empower teams, you're going to be effective and you will move up the leadership progression ladder quite quickly. And then we've got impact, creating multiple results through others. It's not just about you, it's about the team, because the team wins when the team wins. And then from an individual to enterprise impact perspective, the challenge would be focusing only on personal contributions. Okay. And again, that's where teamwork, I believe, is more important. And then evolution, understanding organizational dynamics, and then impact is driving broader business success. So the scientific leadership evolution, bridging excellence and impact, the key is not to abandon scientific excellence, but evolve it to create broader impact for others. And we want to see success markers here. So to do that, you're going to need to be able to transform deep expertise into strategic vision, make team achievements outweigh individual contributions, influence replaces control, and enterprise impact drives decisions, and then collaborative success becomes the goal. And so an action focus is for you to ask yourself, are you using your expertise to empower others or to maintain control? Are you focused on proving your knowledge, or are you focused on developing your team's capabilities? And if you can focus and shift to the empowering others and the developing of teams, your leadership is right there waiting for you. And so we've got the next bit of time to talk about questions and answers. And so I want you to be able to ask the question of yourself. Do you have what it takes to become a proven leader? Are you already a proven leader? What are you doing? What are some of the things that help you show that you have a track record of success in biotech? Are you dedicated to fostering a collaborative environment where teams thrive and clients' needs are met with precision and excellence? These are some of the questions that I have for you, but right now we can take some time to answer the questions that you have for me or Annabelle, and then, maybe I will hear some of your answers as well in that communication.